So I just made the cylinder. That part isn't too bad to figure out. Now there's another cylinder that I can make, and I'll just make it somewhere, and I don't care where right now. And that's going to be a diameter of 1.25 and an inside diameter of zero 0.5. That thing is a total height of 0.98. Now I got that weird piece to make, right?
Hmm.
And so then it's like, okay, how am I gonna do that? Well,
Well,
I'm
see,
gonna do it kind of like it shows. So I'm gonna draw it flat, and I don't care where those are. And I'm gonna draw 5 long because that's what it tells me to do. And then a radius of 0.75. And then I'm going to put that diameter back on there of a diameter of 3.19. Now, here's the weird thing. I need to get something that's 2.25 across. So if I offset 1.125 in either direction, that's where it hits. That's the weird part of this one. And then you can draw from there tangent to that. And from there, tangent to that. And now get rid of everything you don't want, right?
Hmm.
Trim. And then I can just get rid of these. And then it's got that same size hole going through it. So I'm going to put that hole in it. Okay, now here's the part that's a real booger. Okay, this is a total length or a total width of 0.88. So I'm going to press pull that 0.88. And here's the tough part. I'm going to come down 0.15. And I didn't really show this command, so I'm glad you asked. It goes straight down 0.15. And then there's a command called slice. And I'm going to slice this thing. Oop, here it is. Slice this object set up by, and I'm going to type down here, 3P. And I'm going to pick the 3 points that identify my slice. And I'll keep both parts just to make sure. Yep. And then I'll delete that part. Is that the coolest thing?
Yeah, that's actually a lot easier than what I did. I did the tapering.
Right. So what some people do is they'll take it in this front view and they'll just make a great big triangle part and press pull it away. But the taper does things in a couple of different directions.
Yeah, I
So
had to measure the angles first.
yeah. And so now I'll come down 0.68 And that's where my other one goes to. So I'll do the slice again, slice this object along 3 points. And I'll go that point, that point, that point, and I'll keep both. And now I've got those parts. Now, here's the trick. I got to figure out how to put these together, and then how to raise the parts. So I'm going to move this. Oop, I deleted it. Do that. I want to move this so that this bottom center lines up on that bottom center. And then I have to move it upward 0.25. And I have to show that it's saying Z. Okay, I got that one in the right place. And so if I want to right now, I can union those two. And then that's all one piece. Now my next one comes 5 away. So if that's where it should go. And so so it's really, this one's got quite a lot of interesting little thinking going on, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to move it up 0.2. Ha ha ha! And now I got it. And then I'll union those two. And so the information is there. The real hard part was that slice command, right? That's the part that like just doesn't make a lot of sense otherwise. Okay, so now that I've got it, I can go ahead and I'm not gonna worry about putting my title block on. You know how to do that at this point. Put my base view in from model space. It's going to think. And it really is better at 1 equals 2, but the plate said 1 equals 1. So you're going to try to squeeze it in there as best you can. Hate it when I go clicking the wrong thing. I'll probably have to move it just a little bit more. And then you can put this projected view in if you want. And then if you click on it, you can edit that view to make it look like visible lines. And this one you can make small. Probably a 1 equals 2 or a 1 equals 4. There we go. So if you feel like it, this really is too big. If you want to do this at 1 to 2, feel free to do so. I mean, it really does look bad that big. You know, that's just a much better drawing, right? That's just going to do much better. Now, how do you put those holes in, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so now let's come back over here. And so there's a few ways to do it. And I'm going to show you maybe not the most elegant and simple way, but a cool way. What is going on here? Where am I? I want to be on the home view. So the easiest way is to make the drill, put it in place, and subtract it. So I've got a 0.38 drill. I don't know what I just did there. I did the radius of 0.38. And you can extrude that or press pull it. And then you can do this thing called 3D rotate. And drop it into the direction you want. And then put it into place. You can move this thing so that center point is on this center point, and then move it up 0.75. And then you can subtract from this. And they're different? Yeah. From this, enter, subtract that.
Oh.
There you go. So now there's another way to do it that I'm going to show you. And this is maybe easier, maybe not. I'm going to draw quadrant to quadrant on this next one. Draw a line. And I don't know what I just drew there. So the other way you could do it, so now I have a target line where that other one is going to go. And I can draw my circle on it of a diameter 0.4375. And I can do this thing called sweep. I can sweep this circle, enter, along the line. Now I've got to move it up into place. And I can subtract it. Subtract from the big one, enter, subtract the small one. And there you go. So those are two different ways. You can either draw it. Well, in each case, I drew it and moved it into place, right?
Yeah.
And then just get rid of all the extra stuff and voila. Now, when you do your annotate for your center line, that's kind of cool, right? But it's probably too short. So I would suggest center mark. And it looks like I just locked up. I'm noticing that happening. But you can do, you know how to do the annotations at this point, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So center mark of the big one is probably the easiest, and then a center mark on that one. Those are probably the easiest way. And then when you come down to here, put your center marks in. What's really cool is it does get this pretty well, right? I mean,
Oh,
it really
wow.
did catch that. Most of us would have just drawn it straight, but it did a nice job with that. Okay, how does that do? Does that help out?
Oh yeah, that actually does. The the slice actually makes it a lot easier than
Oh,
what I was
yeah.
doing.
Yeah, yeah. The slice is way, 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 way better. Um, Otherwise, you have to draw the reverse of it and extrude it and take it away. So
Mm.
slice is much quicker. Cool.
Okay,
Alrighty-o. Anything else?
so would this slice work for the tooling brace and the adjustable arm because they have these angled pieces that come off the part.
Okay, so on this one, it's actually easier just to make each flat piece. So let me do the adjustable arm really quick, and I'm going to show you this uh, weird little trick about it. And now I have to remember what that weird trick is, but I'm going to start a new one here.
Yeah, because the adjustable arm it has a fillet at the end of that
Yeah,
angled
and you
part.
do those afterwards.
Oh,
You fillet that with the fillet command,
mm,
and then it'll do that. So I'm going to home view, and I'm going to try to draw, I'll draw part of it. I'll draw the 2.00 cylinder. And it gets press pulled by 2.06 minus 0.75. I hate it when they do that. 2.06 minus 0.75. 1.31. Okay, so that's going to press pull 1.31, and it's got a hole through it, which I should have done to begin with, of a radius of 0.5. And that was just a really sloppy way to do that, because now I have to subtract. There we go. So I've got that. Now, I'm going to draw the next kind of like weird shaped part. And I'm going to do it the same way that I did for that last one. So I'm going to draw, I see that it's got something that goes, there's diameter of 2, and then somewhere out there, there's an arc. So I'm just going to draw a circle, and that arc is on a radius of 4.5. And I can draw a line between those now. And then one of them offsets 2, and the other offsets 1. And so now I can trim. So that, what you see there is my center line. So now I've got a radius 0.25, and an R.25. And I've got an arc. And I know the center. Which is right there. And I know the start. And I'll just go to the quadrant of that. Probably got to go a little bit farther. So actually, I'm going to draw a line to here, and then I'm going to keep it out to there. That's where it's going to hook up, right? And so now I'll draw a line from here. And I can extend. There's another one. I don't know what's going on there. Extend. Oh, I'm doing extrude. Extend. There we go. Okay, now I can do my arc, center, start, end, and I can do another arc, center, start, end. And then I got to do the same thing with the other one, right? It's like, so now I need one with a radius of 0.5. Let me trim away what I don't want.
Now, couldn't you just offset that center line as well?
Good. I could do the offset and then go point to point. Absolutely, you could. Okay, so yeah, so if we want to now, we could do the offset of 0.25, offset of 0.125, right? And now I've got an offset of 0.5. And I'm not going to bother putting that little piece in the middle of it. This is probably close enough. And fillets have a radius of 0.25. Fillet, radius 0.25. Darn it, I hate it when it does that. There we go. So now you see I pretty much have that piece. Right? You see what that piece looks like.
Mm-hmm.
So I can press pull that. But before I do, I'm going to make a copy of that because a lot of my other geometry is already drawn. So I don't want to have to draw it again. There we go. So now I've got this piece that I should be able to press pull. And let's hope it does. There it goes. And it press pulls 1. And again, then I'll move it. So that center point is on the other one. And then I have to move it down 0.1 through 3. So now I've got that one. And I'll union this and I'll put the fillet radius on there in a little bit. I can actually do it now if I want, but I'll do it a little bit later. Okay, so now I need this other one. And I'm just going to come up. This is really cool. So if I come and if I draw from the quadrant at 11 degrees, and then I rotate that about my center 11 degrees, I've got that part. And so I did something wrong there. So one of my parts isn't looking right. Oh, I know what I did wrong there. Never mind. You draw it straight, not at 11 degrees. You draw it straight, and then you rotate that about the center point 11 degrees. So now I've got this web piece that I can put in there. Okay? And I can even do my fillet of those two pieces. So I can essentially just take away all the stuff I don't want now. Oops, wrong stuff. No, I did that one wrong. I'm going to leave it like that and I'll fillet it later. So I want just the web. There, now I have just the web. And the fillets, by the way, are so much easier in Inventor, but you would go about doing this the same way. And so this one is 0.38. And I'll do the same thing move it onto there, and then I'll move it down 0.13. And then I'll move it down again 0.31. And now it's in place. And so if I union that, I should get all one part that is pretty much correct. Now let's see if I can get the fillets to work. So I should be able to fill it with a radius of 0.25. This object right there. There it goes.
Huh.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
And then I can probably, this one might be a problem. This fillet might not actually work right. Sometimes it's not actually correct. Let's just see.
Yeah, I had to do a lot of changes to make that fillet work on the 2D drawing.
Okay, there it went. It did go in.
Oh,
You
okay.
can see how weird it really is, right?
Yeah.
And then it looks like I need to do this one. And this one. So some of them I did beforehand, and then some just work afterwards. Isn't that cool though?
And it's like drawing it in 3D makes it a lot easier to get the dimensions correctly when you're putting it into the orthographic views.
Yes, yeah, for a lot of these it is. And then you can see, wow, you've really and of course I didn't put the little bottom one on. It's not all
Yeah.
the way done, but that and I didn't put the little slot through it, but you'll see that this one's actually easier to do in this manner than it is to really to draw it. Like it's a real mind bender. If you were to try to draw that from your own, you know, like it's really hard to draw that one. It's much easier to model it. So there you go. How do you like that?
I like it.
So, and does that give you a clue on the other ones too?
Oh yeah, definitely. That
Okay,
I'll be able to do the tooling brace no problem now
right.
because of the slicing thing and then joining them. Now the Geneva gear doesn't have a, a thickness to it.
No,
It's
just
just
make
the two
something up.
dimensional.
Just make
Okay.
something up to you know. It won't
And
really matter.
did you want us to put in the drive lug as well?
So the drive lug is real interesting, and the reason it's in there, the only reason it's in there, is so that if you want to, you can practice this idea of making alternate views. So let me just show you what I mean by that. I'll put this one in as a base view.
So then, like the cross sections.
Yeah. So like when you do a section view, you would do like it's not a full section, it's probably this half section.
Oh wow.
Okay. But what's really cool is now you can project that over there.
Oh, okay. That's actually really cool.
Yeah. And so the drive lug gives you an opportunity to do that. And then this one, there's a way to hide the view. Uh, shoot. There's a way to hide it. Now I'm not remembering what it is. Because you don't necessarily want this view sitting here, right? I'll have to look that one up. But isn't that
Okay.
cool what you can
Yeah.
do? And so that's what the drive lug is for. It's pretty easy to do to make. But the ability to do this thing that lets you really view what that structure looks like, because somebody would be interested in really knowing what this web is like. We don't really have a good idea of what the web is like.
Hmm.
So this helps us understand it. How do I make that disappear?
Can you do it in the edit view?
I would isolate hide object.
Ah, okay.
Huh, not letting me. Not letting me. So it got rid of the hatch is all. Well, I'll have to play around with that. Hide objects, end objects, isolate objects, blah blah blah. Not really sure. Identifier, show hatching, edge visibility, appearance. That's just how it looks. Looks like I'm stuck with it there for now. I can, if I want to. I think there's a way to break its position and well,
Now, would you be able to isolate the object, just that object alone, and then hide it?
yeah, I'm not sure because it's just some. Well, I'll play around with it. I know that I can change the line weights to be white, the lines to be white. That's kind of a that's kind of a pain. So I'll play around. I mean, if I need to, I can always just leave it there, right? It's not really a problem, and I can always just pull it way over here so that it doesn't show on your page. That's probably what I'd have to do. And then hide. Let's see if I can isolate that. I'll have to play around on how to get that. So it's not letting me hide that one either. But we can play around with it some. It's not the worst thing in the world. On the drive lug, you sort of want it anyway because you're going to make that view. Um, there we go. Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I have another meeting to run over to, so I'll stop this recording.